Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 305, and today we're going to be doing battle with Norra Jayce. And so, Norra Jayce is kind of an interesting concept to me that I haven't seen running around too much these days, and there's a couple of angles that I like to take when looking at a deck like this. First and foremost, Albus Farros did just catch an upgrade within the 4.1 patch. He used to start off his ramping damage-based ability at 1, and so if you played 2 6th-cost spells as you're trying to do with Jayce, he would attack and only deal 3 damage. Now, that starts ramping up from 3, and so he gets these really powerful punches in. I kind of equated Albus Farros to being a Decimate that draws a card, and I think with that kind of in mind, he's a card that we need to be considering a little bit more, given the prevalence that cards like Decimate still has these days. I mean, this guy gets to attack, he gets to draw Jayce, and deal a Decimate worth of damage, potentially multiple times. That's a very powerful thing to be coming in and looking at. And so I would like to investigate old Albus a little bit more. And then the secondary kind of factor is if we think of a deck that we're typically going to be seeing Jayce in is going to be Jayce Lux. That's the only Jayce deck that you're going to be finding on the meta reports. And I don't think that deck synergizes particularly well. If we look at Lux, she does want to see us play that 6 mana worth of stuff. Jayce wants to see 6 mana worth of stuff happen. Like, I get the synergies there, but as soon as you step away from Lux, the synergies immediately fall away. We're no longer doing that stuff with Champion Strength to where we're using the Forge Chief and using the 1-cost Squirrel thing to cheat the Champion Strengths into play. We aren't doing that craziness with the Poro Cannons. Like, that was Worlds. That's like, gone. We're back into the more classical versions of Jayce Lux, and the 6th-cost spells in Demacia are just all garbage, right? You have access to back-to-back, which you don't really need in this style of deck. You can play something like Remembrance, which isn't always a 6th-cost spell, and it's not really the strongest thing you can be doing these days. And so it's like you're basically playing Lux. You play Petricite Broadwing because it's a good card, and then you have no more synergies for the rest of the way. And so we're looking to switch Jayce over here with Norra, and there's a few interesting additions that you get with the addition of Bandle City. We get to start playing, of course, better removal spells like Pokestick, but the things that I look for out of Bandle City itself is we now have access to Minimorph, which is a very powerful 6th-cost spell. It's not something that we're going to be able to double up with Jayce, right? But it is something that is quite powerful in this current format with the likes of Kales and Leonas running around and a lot of OTK strategies with Varus running around. Having access to Minimorph is quite powerful. And then it also gives us expensive spells, kind of like Treasured Trash. We're only playing a single copy here, but this is a very powerful, expensive spells. You can still continue to look into this space and to consider playing something like Hidden Pathways as a 6th-cost draw 2 that synergizes with the rest of the deck, but I felt like that one started to be a bit of a stretch, especially as we're out here playing cards like Pharaoh's Financier that are going to create the cards and potentially drop the cost. And so outside of just the spells, we do have some additional synergies tying in with Norra. Turns out Jayce does do a little bit of unit summoning that can help her level up a little bit more quickly. So the cards like Forge of Tomorrow do summon a unit, and then the 6th-cost spell Assembly Line summons the 2 Forge Workers. And so, surprisingly enough, with P and Z, they do have a bit of tie-in with the Norra outside of just tying in the Portals package. And so, before we get started, the one thing I will say before I really brought this deck to the forefront is the final spell that we're not out here playing is Eclectic Collection. And if you're looking to just run around for some funsies, if you're looking to have some good battles within the normal queues, Eclectic Collection is something that you can certainly look to put in here. Ties in nicely with both Jayce and Norra. Having Jayce double copy and Eclectic Collection is a pretty interesting thing that you can do, but we aren't chasing after this as we are looking to grind through the Masters queue. And so maybe we'll find ourselves in an interesting spot here today where old Reggie generates the Eclectic Collection and then we get something interesting happening down the road there. But that is the last piece I wanted to call out here, just to say, the opportunity is there if that's something you're looking to partake in. And so that's the deck. That's what we'll be doing battle with today. Before we dive in, we do have to go and pay the pay-to-win price. And we're typically all paid up these days, but we haven't been playing a ton of Norra. The Portal Palooza hasn't been turned premium yet, and so we're going to catch that one here right now. And I think the Portal Palooza is another interesting space. I suspect the Portal Palooza is going to catch a bit of a nerf in an upcoming patch. I think something will eventually happen to Norra, and I feel like the problematic card is probably more so Portal Palooza than it is Junk Construct. And I'm curious if Riot ever comes in and increases the cost to 6. And as you increase the cost to 6, that does bring up some interesting implications as we're out here playing Jayce, potentially playing double Portal Paloozas. It's an interesting thing that you could have happen. I think if Portal Palooza gets a nerf, they're going to change it from burst to focus, but it's something to keep in mind with this style of deck and changes potentially happening in the future. If the Portal Palooza goes up to 6, that's kind of an interesting spot here. But let's see what we can do. We're up against old Heimerdinger Jayce. He's building directly into that 6th cost turn. I would assume that he's not going to kill anything here, and then next turn look to play the big turret card. Not the case. He says Norra is just a little bit too much, so no problem, no problem. We should be able to get a reasonable Reggie here. And now that we've said it, I'm just going to be looking for it every time. You gotta see if that Eclectic Collection's going to turn up. Not yet, but Mega Inferno Bomb is a reasonable card here. Up against Heimerdinger Jayce, they are going to have quite a few turrets. And so if he goes for a big turret turn, if he plays a... it's not Progress Day, I just saw that card, so it's stuck in my head. If he plays a... turret generator, whatever it's called. We're beyond that now. If it gets played, we do have the Inferno Bomb to potentially clear out his full board. Here it comes. This is going to be it. No, it's not. Dang it, dude. Why are you playing Assembly Line? That's not what we wanted to see at all. Alright, so I suspect we want to just take this. I mean, we could look to go into Mega Inferno Bomb of our own. Do we want to just prevent the damage? Like, maybe it's fine. I don't entirely worry about us getting burned out against a deck like this, but it's certainly something that they have in their wheelhouse. All right, Mega Inferno Bomb. One of those cards I always tried to get to work in Expedition, and it was just never any good. It was a bit of a bummer for it, but you know, kind of is what it is. If you're gonna have a big AOE board sweeper be bad in a format, it's kind of tough for them. Man, this sucks. This is brutal. I was worried about this kind of thing happening. I didn't realize that he was going to have so much Heimerdinger power here. I feel like we've just kind of come in and punted this game away. I feel like we should have just left these Forge Workers on the board, and now we would be in a much better spot. But lesson learned. How do we want to handle this one? It's like we need to take care of the Donger, but he's just a little bit too powerful here. And with only 6 mana, like if we want to kill the Florbegon and bank into next turn, I think that's where we're stuck. We should at least get a bit of opportunity here to draw another card and see if we can't get a little something going. We could technically spike our portal as well. Hey, there you go. That's the way to do it. At least shuts down more of his turn. So we can, I guess we can get out of this reasonably. Hitting the Broadwing and now letting us double Mystic Shot the Heimerdinger. That's not as bad as I initially thought. So he's up 1 card on us with the unit on board. Alright. I've been in worse situations, right? It's been worse before. It's so weird seeing these assembly lines coming down, though. Like, it's so weird. All right. He's He's completely caught me off guard with the Albus Farros and the Jayce package. It just I fully expected this to be the turret package, and that's not what we're getting. His Albus is doing a bit of work here. Not that bad, my dude. Not that bad. That was a nice 5 damage chunk he was sending at our face. That's what I'm talking about with Albus, man. It's not coming from our deck, it's coming from his, but that's a pretty good piece of value that he got, right? He played his 7-cost unit. We had to play a 6-cost spell for it, so he was only in for 1 more mana, but he did get to deal 5 damage to our face with the attack and then draw his Jayce out of his deck. That's not a bad world to live in right there. It's a pretty powerful thing that he did. How the heck's Sect Handler here as well? I don't know. I'm at a loss for how he's able to fit all of this stuff into his deck. But let's get the assembly line down. I don't think we have to worry too much about Jayce here. The double spells coming out, we can hopefully just manage, right? I think that's kind of a safe way to say it here. Like, if he's going to drop an assembly line and double it up, I mean, fine. But we have to start getting some of our stuff on board. So I think we can lead in with the beam. I like keeping the mini-morph, so if we need to come at a little bit faster speed on an upcoming turn, we can still take down the Jayce. It strikes me as a turn where he's just going to play a secondary Jayce. He didn't do anything with it. He wasn't very protective of him. Kind of feels like he just has a second one. It just immediately draw it, but interesting.
Now's not a good time.
It's got to have something big here, right? Alright, well, maybe we'll get a good Shock Blast or something. That's what you got to kind of hope for when the board looks like this. Just still so weird. I don't know, man. He's still got like a million cards in his hand. I'm a little bit worried about everything happening here. So we can try and take down the Jayces, but we can't stop his Heimerdinger. We're just like a little bit too ground down in this match. He's going to get a doubled spell and then get the 2 6-cost cards. Yeah. Okay. GG. On to the next one. I don't know. I don't feel like that was a particularly good match. I feel like if I was a little bit more aware of what we were getting ourselves into, it could have been a little bit different. But that was having the assembly lines and everything come out and still have the tech cards in there. That was weird. Are we just going to see this over and over again now? Is this the world that we now live in? Wow, guess I gotta be a little more prepared for this. But this isn't a matchup we're going to be too pleased to be running into. Like, I feel a little bit better about the various tech versions, but as we come out here with a Norra package, we're going to be looking to face off against more unit-based decks, right? We really want to get Norra going. We want to trade off the portaled units for our opponent's cards, and we haven't really been able to do that up to this point. It's a tough spot. Like, I don't think we ever need the 6 mana next turn. We don't have any combos for it just yet, so we can drop the Norra, see if she eats a Mystic Shot here, but that's got to be a pretty decent place to just bank. But I think we can take some of this mana away from opponent. Ooh, a whole beam? I don't think Norra was that important. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. right, nice little collection of friends here. Let's get old Reggie down, see what we pick up. The assembly line looks like the best choice out of all of these. And then get a nice 3-bank into the next turn. I'd assume opponent's going to just bank here as well. Do we even want to play assembly line next turn? No. This is the kind of spot to where he's going to get ready to start dropping Heimerdingers. And that was the problem we really ran into in that previous game, was that he just 2-for-1'd us all over the place. That one turn where we thought we were just going to get destroyed, we did at least get to cycle the Pokey Stick, but then we had to spend 2 cards to kill off Heimerdinger, and he still got to generate a turret off of it and all that nonsense. And so it was just a massive resource sink for us. Bonus thinking on this real hard though. We're pretty close to the top. We're pretty pretty close to hitting the top of the ladder today, and so take your time. Take your time.
The sweet smell of science.
All right, well, got to get the Donger out of here, right? It's not the most effective way of taking him down, but can't let him untap next turn with Heimerdinger, cast some rando 6-cost spell, get the free unit in hand. Like, all that nonsense is just too much. But we do look decent here. We can start to assembly line. Next turn, we can drop Albus. I think we're to the point to where, it's easy to see that we're playing like a Norra Jayce control deck and be like, okay, well, I need to do the control deck things in this matchup and play everything real slow and really grind it out for value. But we're going to be the aggro in this match. We don't have the same kind of grind capabilities that you would get out of Heimerdinger, and so I think we just have to start dropping Albus and attacking. It's going to be our path to victory here. Come at us with some 3/3s. You know what we need right now? We need to collect a collection. I think that's our problem. I think that's our problem with these games. We don't have the eclectic collection out here. Alright, though, let's think a little harder. Let's really invest in this. Use the entirety of that timer, grind it all down. Let it run out and just pass. Nice. I like it. So here's our bro. One of the things I don't like about Albus is he doesn't have an indicator. Oh, he does have it now. He deals 5. I was like, I noticed earlier I was having a bit of trouble determining how much damage he was going to deal. And then if you go back to his skill ability, it always says 3. But he does say deal 5 here. That makes it a little bit easier. All right, looks like opponent has returned. He's ready with his Piercing Darkness for Albus. Can attack in with our regular crew of friends here. Nothing too scary coming out of opponent now. Let's see what he does. Looks good to me. So we got one portal in here. It should be turning up. You can see the Norra is hanging out at 2. That was from the assembly line that we played. I'd like to get some of those Norra portals out here and up and running, but it's okay. Oh my god, dude, play slower. I am such a proponent of Nozdormu mode. Just make it. You get 15 seconds a turn, that's it. Then you're done. Interesting. Not a bad Stalking Wolf. Ready to challenge down any of these dum-dums that turn up. Alright, so he's got 7 mana left. I'm leaning towards just playing an additional Albus. I think we're in the spot to where we're wanting to just open attack next turn. I'm not amped about Jayce. right? We could look to, say, add Jace and then next turn open with assembly line so we get all of the dudes, but I think he's a little unnecessary at this stage. Like, I would prefer to have a little bit better setup when we're going to drop the big double spell with him. So we'll drop in Albus. If he has another 6 mana removal spell to take him down, it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world to have him get removed again. He's done quite a bit of work.
Tomorrow has never looked so good.
All right, Jace coming in. Is that going to be a challenger or a quick attack? Challenger to take down Albus. That's fine.
All day, every day, Reggie. Let's get
If he's not getting double spells out of him, that feels like a win for us. Oh no. He says, poor Albus, my dude, my bro. Hurts to see you gone. All right, but without Albus, there's no reason to open attack here. So we'll go ahead and start putting stuff on the board. Where you at? We went to quick attacking Jace.
This is the cutting edge of progress.
See if we can't get another 6 mana spell out of him. We're pretty close to just popping off here. We want to drop a forge. It's like the forge is just a little bit short. Our mana is just a little bit awkward here. Let's start off with this. Let's just bring in the Proki stick and see what happens. He's got all this mana built up. I still worry, like, if we're not really popping off with this turn, and then he just gets to play a Heimerdinger, we're going to be in a bad spot, right? And so it kind of feels like he's trying to be in this space to where he can spend the 5 mana on Heimerdinger and then follow up with another spell, so he's not investing really heavily in this board because we're also not really threatening anything that he's doing. And so I think we have to chunk this off just a little slow. If he wants to spend a giant spell to kill Jace, it's okay. But I don't want to get over invested here. It's got to keep that mana up for the old donger. All right, my gift to you, my gift to the viewers, we're going to get in like 3 games today. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get to see. I hope you didn't want any more of that. It's going to be 3 games, 50 minutes of filler. You're welcome. All right, not bad. See that donger come in now. This is so boring. It gets to the points to where I'm ready to just start conceding games. Yep, see that rope go down? Really enjoying it out here.
Will do, Axel. Interesting use of tech.
All right, well, let's see where this one gets us. He can still follow up with Heimerdinger here, but we can't kill everything. I think taking down Jace is kind of okay. He's going to get the chance to play like 1 spell next turn, right? If he plays the 5 mana the 5 mana Heimerdinger, then just goes into the next turn. Okay, Production Surge is fine. What you got? Ooh, that's never good. Hitting the barrier turret, that's a terrible hit. Just doesn't do anything here. Womp womp. That's what you get for taking all day. Riot wrote it into the code. It's into the code, you know. If you're out here being a boring fuck, then we're going to give you low rolls on the turrets. Yep. Let's stop and think about this a little more. How bad is my day now that I hit the 7-1 barrier and the barrier is going to fall off? Definitely warrants roping a little more. Maybe this is the point. Like you always start to wonder when the players are sitting here roping on you if they've managed to just drop their phone in the toilet at some point. And I'm leaning more towards toilet mode now that opponent put now that he put down the tech card and completely whiffed on it. Maybe not. Just thinking super hard on it here.
I help when I can.
Whew, it's tough. It's tough.
This is where the magic happens.
Let's see what we can do. We're going to look to Shock Blast here, get the mana back, and then Mystic Shot something. I would like to start sending these Shock Blasts to face, since we're getting to the point to where we can just portal up, right? We don't have any portals in our deck, but we can try and pop off Portal Paloozas and the like to
Replicating the power spike.
just get a really wide board here. So I think we can do this. It would have been a little bit more ideal to be dropping Mystic Shots onto the Stomper, but I think this is fine. Mainly interested in the 6 damage to face as much as killing off this rando unit. Production Surge number 2. Is that what this one's going to be? Sure. You get another collection of turds. You got it, dude. So let's see. So let's throw some blocks down here. It's not even really that close to killing us, but I don't think we want to just give him the opportunities to get a bunch of free damage in.
I hate traffic.
We take 3. I don't want to get damage stacked onto Jayce, right? We want him to stay above 3 health. Could technically block this wrench bot down at the end, but we want him to stay above Shock Blast range. So that's fine. Now we can double up this assembly line next turn. Don't think it's going to be lethal, but we're getting closer and closer. And at this point, he's got 2 random cards in his hand. I think Production Surge costs 0, right? It's one of those cards like Thermogenic Beam, and so when you play a card like Reggie, or when you play a card like Flash of Brilliance, you don't get the opportunities to pick up cards like that. It's going to pop us with Ruination. That could be another option here. Okay. There comes the squad. We got this nice 6 mana space here. We can't start to look to drop these Portal Paloozas, but I think at this space we're really looking to say like, okay, he's got a Heimerdinger. Let's drop a beam on it, and then we'll try an open attack on an upcoming turn with these portals if we need to finish off the game. But I mean, I think we're in a pretty decent space here. We've got. We can drop Norra. We can. He's got 2 expensive spells, an acceleration gate, and then 1 other card in his hand.
Joy is a good look in a book and a cat in a lap.
You definitely see the argument for just waiting till next turn with Norra, but it's tough for him to have good removals here. And this is actually quite the way around Ruination, right? Say he spends all of his mana on Ruination here, and then We don't even worry about Albus. Albus was a great draw, but if we're getting to go into the next turn and then just bursting out double Portal Palooza right out the gates, that's a very easy and effective way to just put like 9 attack onto the board. All right, he goes Progress Day. Still has 5 mana back, so our Albus may not be super safe, but I think we're looking pretty strong here. He's going to need to deal with both Albus and the Norra and whatever comes out of 2 Portal Paloozas. I dig it. He's only got 5 mana now, so Albus should be safe.
My mind is nothing without means.
All right. Let's snack on these thoughts a little bit more, I guess. It's just, I would like to play a Portal Palooza on this turn. We'll see how much more mana he ends up spending out of here. Hextech Handler coming in. All right, well, let's clear out at least 1 unit. We want him. He's already done his thing. Okay. Opponent didn't think on that concession for very long. God, I know there's a subset of people that really enjoy just sitting around and having a dick measuring contest with whoever's brain's the biggest. But man, I just hate how slowly these games flow sometimes when people take forever and rope on every thought. Just I get that people enjoy the game in different ways, but so boring. So boring. They need separate queues for that. They need the primary queue should be the Nozdormu mode queue, right? If you're not familiar with Nozdormu, he's a card in Hearthstone to where you only got 15 seconds to take your turn, and so the rope just immediately started, and you were going. I loved it. I thought it was great. That's the way I always explain it in these things is if I played chess, we'd be out here playing blitz chess or speed chess, the thing where you only have a minute to play the game. Like that sounds really appealing to me. I don't want this nonsense where I'm just sitting here fucking bored. All right, though, on to the next one. Doing battle with some dude. Looks like he just rolled into Masters, so congratulations there, Lord Handrew. Welcome to the big leagues. I hope you're ready to make some fast actions. All right, but we'll go ahead and take the trade out of our Forge Chief. There is a reasonable chance we could come into this next turn and like have the Forge Chief in a spot to where it's able just to continue attacking. But I feel like its day's usually done at this point, and so let's just give ourselves maximum mana here and see if we can't grind this game on. You know, we're just playing better units than this dude. What a world to be in. What a world to be in, playing against Leona Kale and your units are just better than theirs. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. So where's all your Daybreak bros at? There's the Sun Guardian. I don't think we need to worry about it too much. I'll go ahead and drop in Jayce. Give him the quick attack. It's a fairly sketchy attack with the Sun Guardian into Jayce. I guess I could be convinced that he may realistically have spells behind, right? If you're going to be having this fairly slow draw from the opponent, I could definitely see that being in his wheelhouse, to where he's kind of like stuck with a bunch of Ravenous Flocks and stuck with Pale Cascades and the like, or just drawing a bunch of expensive dudes. Like all of that is pretty reasonable assumptions, and so it probably wouldn't have been like a super safe block with Jayce onto Sun Guardian, but my expectations for him are pretty low here. He's not flipped, he's not doing a whole lot. Yeah, pretty decent turn. We're going to start dropping spells onto this Leona. He's going to have a Pale Cascade here. But again, I think that's fine. Oh, even better. Reg turning up at opportune time, right when we needed something to do with all this mana. Reggie turning up. Good friend, good friend. I see why Jace likes to hang out with you. But seeing these cards like Jace and Reggie's kind of interesting, given that the upcoming set. It's a one of the mini set kind of things, and Jace came out of a mini set. I'm curious, as they say, all the factions will be getting cards. What kind of space that actually means and what that leads you towards. So, if you want to say they had the mini sets like the Shyvana Viego event, right, with the dragons, that was kind of a thing, and then there's been other mini sets. Like where they say like released a bit of elites cards, but that's not like spread out across the factions, right? I'm curious what we're going to get out of this upcoming thing, whether or not it's something similar to this, the Jace expansions, or something a little different. Can we Song Spinner here? We can. I'm eyeballing. It's like we can't Transmogulator. I'm eyeballing this Glorious Evolution, but it's going to be a little bit too expensive. All right, so what do we got? Discard a card. That's great. Syncopate. Maybe we'll get to use here. Concurrent timelines. That's kind of a juicy one. I think we'll just go with the transfusion out of that. Now we get a second one. Give me some more of these spells. So what do we got? Combat trick, okay. Removal spell sounds good. This is the proper speed to be playing all of these cards, just so you know. Not taking the hours of thought. Now, do we want to grow a unit to be bigger than Jace so he doesn't get stunned here? It's probably not super worthwhile. We're about to have this really sweet combat, though, right? We got a million combat tricks in hand. He's going to get cute. He's going to put some kind of block out here, and so I am excited for that. I am excited. Let's see what we're going to do. I am, kind of curious with this Syncopate, in that we can technically just swap Jace into combat, but I don't think he's going to have Quick Attack. It would be interesting to know. Y'all want to find out how this works? Oh, he does pick up Quick Attack. Oh, that's sick. That's sick. What an interaction. Oh, I love it. I love it. Now let's get the rest of this stuff going. I want to play some of this stuff while it's free. Let's boost Jace and Norra. And then we'll follow up with High Note here. What a sick interaction, man. I haven't seen that one. I guess you players of the Irelia decks knew what was about to happen there. But man, Irelia is typically just already attacking anyways. And so that's kind of wild to me. That was pretty cool. I dig it. The learning moments coming from all over the place. All right, Jace, what big spells we cast in this turn? Doesn't look like an enticing turn for an assembly line. It's all right though. I'm still really hype off that Syncopate. That's pretty sick. Oh my god, are we really battling with Kale here? Leaves me a little surprised. She doesn't even have Quick Attack. Alright, well, let's just block and see what happens. He's got to play something to give her a Quick Attack, right? Nope. Just nope. Alright. It's wild. Well, let's make sure we can get this double assembly line. That should be enough to end the game on the next turn. We'll get it first, just in case he has something weird to deal with Jace. I assume that he never has anything weird here, but we'll at least take that opportunity away. You could probably play Acceleration Gate for just a little bit of excitement. Uh-oh. Everybody sees Reg lining up. He knows how exciting that last turn was. So maybe I'll bring in a little bit of something here. We're not opening. Just so you know, the correct play here is to open attack. But we're gonna go for the excitement. That's what you got to do. A second sputtering song spinner. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna go for the acceleration gate though. That's where the fun's gonna come in. Would have got anything cool? Tough, regenerate, spell shield, life steal, and overwhelm. Interesting. Alright, here comes the squad. Have to feel like that's enough. If it's not enough to physically end the game through damage, killing all of his units is going to get it close enough anyways. Alright. Not bad. That's what I call progress. All right, on to the next one. And man, you know what I was just thinking, what I just remembered? It was such a sad day in the lands of Expedition. As Expedition was ending, that was right when the Jayce sets were starting to be released. And you kind of got the feeling that things were pretty bad when the new expansion didn't even make it into Expedition. And so that was one of like the real bummer moments when you kind of realized that everything was probably gone in the sense that the Jayce set was released and then they just didn't put it into the format. Now I was kind of in the boat. Like if you're not familiar with the history of Expedition, was this Swain Twisted Fate? So we can be kind of greedy here. It they had the lead dev. He just like left the company up and left. He put out a tweet that was just kind of like, I'm leaving the company and I don't have a backup plan. That's not the exact way that it went, but it was basically like, I'm leaving not to go to another job, not to go to another company, right? And so your tweets in that sense would typically be like, oh yeah, I'm leaving Riot to go join this indie company. I'm leaving Riot for this sweet position with this other place, and it was just like, nah, I'm peacing out. And what I kind of deduced as happening was that they gave him kind of like free reign for Expedition, and then when Expedition didn't hit whatever metric that they wanted, they basically just said, well, we're gonna take it out of the game. And so to have them basically take the format that you designed and created out of the game has to be a real bummer. And so that was one of the point where I was kind of like, well, maybe it's gone. It's like maybe he just wasn't happy with the direction that they were wanting to take it or something, and life got in the way or whatever. But I was kind of worried with it at that point. But then I took a break from Expedition a little bit after that because it was getting kind of nonsensical, the amount of not updating that they were doing. Then we came back, and maybe like 2 months after we came back, they're like, oh yeah, this is done. no more Expeditions for you all. But back to the action here. We need to just come in and prevent damage. I wasn't expecting this to be the kind of like piratesy version of this, but it's what we're getting. So let's just prevent all the damage that we can. We should be able to play to our strengths in this style of matchup with just the unit summonings and the board stall and everything. If it was just kind of the standard Pirates deck, I'd feel a little bit better, but knowing that he has Swain, we do have to worry about his late game possibilities a little bit more. But we got some good grinding here. We got the Norras going through. The portals can start churning in. Feel okay with that. Could tie the. It's interesting. We have both. We spiked the the Owlcat creator. So we have the Owlcat and then the 2 units that we can use to potentially level up Norra. We also have the Forge of Tomorrow to give us another unit for Norra. So we've got 4 separate created cards outside of the summons to help level her up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, well, here comes the squad. He almost put forward that block with Twisted Fate. I would assume he has another Twisted Fate if we're going to see people start to do that, right? A lot of times you don't want Twisted Fate on the board because he just doesn't do anything, and you want to get a fresh cycle or something out of him. And so seeing that block come forward make me think a little bit that he's probably got a second Twisted Fate here. Don't think we need to worry about the tentacles, though. Get the Forge in. We have decent removal for it should we need it. I think this is fine. I do want to get the Owlcat down, I think, though. I'd prefer... Well, we could probably just bank it. He's not going to block anything successfully now that the tentacle is going to go up to 5 health. Let's see, there's that Twisted Fate we expected to be in his hand. He's getting close to flipping. We might have to... think about using this Hexbliterator on him. I was ideally just going to Hexbliterate the tentacle, but without something like Might, I don't think we have to worry about the tentacle. And, like, is this deck really playing Might? I don't suspect that it is. Let's just get him out of here. He's 1 card away from flipping. We just need to remove him. So it's like there's shouldn't be any faster burst speed card draw that he can have here. Now that he doesn't have the mana for Eye of Nagakaboros anyways, but with it being a burst or a focus now, he wouldn't have been able to play it. 3rd Twisted Fate. All right. All right, Reggie, you're coming in. I think a True Shot Barrage here is okay. Maybe we can finally take down this tentacle. I mean, I guess the tentacle isn't that scary anymore, right? I don't... There's not too much he should be really hitting with this. Does he ever have an answer to Albus? Like, one of the downsides to the board here is if he starts playing like a Leviathan, we don't really have the strength to fight through it. Let's see what happens. Swain flipped at this point? He should be. Boomed our Norra. But I definitely feel a little bit better now, though. If he's not going to have just a big unit to get in front of Albus, I think we're okay. Which is this 4 to the Nexus. Not bad. You can look to play Jason to double True Shot Barrage. That could certainly be a that could certainly be an outcome here. Show Ezreal how the shit's really done. Or make it rain. Alright. I feel like we should be complaining about them, but I'm not quite ready for it. Not quite there.
Lady Luck is smiling.
Lady Luck is smiling. So we'll see what he does. With him pushing units forward, I feel like a little bit better about this. Oh, let's just take it down. 3 to Twisted Fate, 2 to Zap, 1 to the Tentacle. And then if he comes at us with Swain, we can block with Albus and not have to worry about the AoE. If he comes in with the Leviathan, it's a little less ideal, but let's just go ahead and clear the nonsense out. And then we do still have this opportunity to follow up with Jayce. Quick attack, please. Like to keep him protected from the various ravenous flocks of the world.
There's nothing a little ingenuity can't fix.
Dude's dropping GGs on us. Oh man, he's just he's got the aggro piece a little bit too late. All right, still has one card in hand, but we're looking pretty strong here. We're blocking. This is just don't die mode now.
Well,
Step aside.
till next time.
All right, so we're definitely looking to just double assembly line here. It's like if he draws an expensive, then he's not going to be able to kind of work around this. This is another one of these spots where it's like I don't suspect we're going to win the game this turn, but it should be the kind of like crushing blow. We're going to knock him down to 3. We're going to kill all of his units and then just kill him with a shock blast next turn. Got him. GG.
Gonna mark today
All right, well, as far as the video goes, we're at the 50-minute mark. So we'll get one more game in, one last battle. If you're upset about that, get mad at that Heimerdinger Jayce guy from earlier, taking up all your valuable time. I wish I had a way to just set that part of the video to like 3x time. Let me still bitch about it in normal speed, but turn that 18 minutes of nonsense into a more manageable 6 minutes of less boring action. You can turn it on 2x if you want. Get me going in that squeaky voice. Let it roll through. All right, what do we got here? High in Orbit is a big fan of the Tristana Noxus deck. See how this goes. A very accomplished Runeterran. But we want to find our kind of portal package as we run up against this more aggressively centered number. I don't feel super comfortable not hanging on to at least Reggie, just so we have something to do if we pick up one of these draws to where we have, say, like Reggie and a portal card and a shock blast and an Albus Farros or something. We're just absolutely never winning this match. But if we can mulligan into a little bit better and still have Reggie to come in and block or something, I feel much better here. And then we just actually hit all of the portal cards, and so not a bad little day. All right, assembly line turning in. I think that's what we'll want to play next turn. We do have double junk construct, which is kind of interesting. I mean, maybe that's just better. But I'd like to be attacking next turn. I kind of want to save these junk constructs for the defensive. Oh, geez, that's a big Vandal City Mayor. I think we're going to have to pivot now. We'll add the construct in. I would like to beam the Mayor off the board before he gets to act and get that free mana out of him. So it's a little bit awkward, right? As we're taking this path, as we go into the next turn, we can't play assembly line, so we're going to have to play like one unit into one unit. It's going to let him get a little bit further ahead of us, but I feel like it's also just very easy for him to get the super wide board if we don't take care of that unit. Wow, how shitty is your hand? That can't feel good. That can't feel good. Okay, well, our opponent's misfortune is good for us. He went Poro Sled and then didn't have the mana to play it. Thinking about that might. He has to have just things like might and Reveler's Feast and stuff in hand. If he's passing that turn without spending any of his mana. So I'm not really surprised to see the might come in here. It's not super ideal, but
Around the portal.
it's what it is. Oh snap! Portaling off. Look at it. Look at these. Look at these 4/3s coming to the party. I dig this. Get another 2 summons with the assembly line. All of our units are now big enough to take down a Poro sled. Hopefully feels sad for opponent. And then we can ideally, now that we picked up many more, fight through a might play. And so I think that'll be the kind of big thing that we're watching out for here is as he's kind of backed into this corner of trying to take us down with the mights, now that all of our units are just better than his units, I think we need to try and keep ourselves open to mini-morphing whatever a might comes down onto.
Sing with the darkness in your heart.
Because if you think about how this deck works, it doesn't play Nox and Fervors, it doesn't play Decimates, it's trying to get all of its kills with the might.
Come on, then. Point out.
The curiosity will be like, how many copies did they play, right? If we're going to say might the unit, or oh, he is playing Nox and Fervors. Well, snap. Okay, that's scary. That's scary. Killed off his whole board though.
The Pharaoh's name will last the ages.
All right, Albus, it's on you. We're gonna be opening in with this Portal Palooza, just slamming with the squad. Hopefully that's enough. Does assembly line change our mind? Like, we can't stop a Decimate or a Nox and Fervor, right? That's just off the table. We're not going to be able to, mini-morph that unit down. I guess technically we could say play Reggie and then try and pick up a 6-cost spell, but if he's gonna Nox and Fervor, he can just do it off of the Owlcat. And so I don't think that that's particularly safe. The next question here is, can we ever just lethal this turn, right? We can try and hit that one portal along with these off of the Portal Palooza. That gets us to a space to where let's deal 4. Say he blocks Albus and the Patrol Wardens. That's 4, 8, and 9. So we would need to pick up 5 damage off of Portal Palooza. Maybe that's okay. We can still follow up with the Pharaoh's Fancier. We hit 2, but it's not going to be enough stats. Dang.
Goodbye, Crook. I'll
One short.
find you, dear cat.
Alright, here comes the squad. Look at that, one short. I did those mathematics so spot on. So spot on. And then he has the Nox and Fervor as well. Alright, GG. GG. And so, not a bad set of games. We can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. I thought it was pretty interesting. And so, the things that you're going to come out and ask yourself are, when is this ever better than Lux? Right? And I don't think it's that hard to be better than Lux. Again, the cards you're playing out of Demacia don't really support what you're doing. They don't add a lot to the deck. I mean, I guess that's, kind of like one angle to think about it in. But I guess the kind of flip side to that is these P and Z cards are just kind of so good that they don't need a lot of additional help to really kind of fit in and make this deck better. And so that's kind of like one angle to it, to where I'm kind of like, maybe it's not worth it. The space to where you really have to start questioning yourself is this the best way you can take advantage of Norra, which is kind of up in the air. That's kind of an interesting thought exercise. Like, I'm admittedly not a grand player of the Norra decks. I do like a lot of the concepts that were happening here, as to where we're playing the summon cards. You can see how you do have opportunities just to kind of like run out of stuff to do as the late game progresses, and having access to things like Pokestick and having access to things like Portal Palooza to just churn through your deck a little bit more is a kind of nice space to be in. And so there is that consideration there as well. In terms of this deck that we brought here, the Treasured Trash can go. That was another card that I feel like as you get into that space to where you just don't have enough stuff to do at the end of the game, you've gotten into a real grind fest against Annie Ezreal, and then you just need something to do. We didn't really run into that space since we're out here playing the Portal Paloozas and the like, and so I think the Treasured Trash could just go. And then there does need to be a bit of tuning between these 6-cost spells. The Minimorph Assembly Line Shock Blast Hex Obliterator combo didn't feel exactly right, and so I think you probably want to go up to the 3rd assembly line and then just maybe play 1 Minimorph, but I'm not entirely certain at this point. I need to get another 10-20 games in before I'd feel a little bit more confident in that space. But otherwise, I was pretty happy with it. I was happy with how a lot of these ideas go. I think Albus Farros isn't being given enough credit these days. I think that's an incredibly powerful ability. Again, having a really strong attacker with quick attack with that Decimate tied in that draws a card, that's all extremely good stuff. And I'm surprised we aren't seeing more of him running around. And then, last but not least, if you want to get your eclectic collections in here, do your thing, man. You go for it. That is the combo with the Jayce, right? You get the flipped Jayce on board, the 6 units because of Norra, and then you're doubling up the eclectic collection. That's how you know you're having some fun out there. That's the good stuff you can bring to the table. And so, not bad, good stuff. I had fun. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.